nigga 7 days a week. See, I don't get tired, I let you other niggas sleep. Turn up for that chicken, yeah, I get it out the streets. Hustle like I'm starving, going hard, I gotta eat. I get it out.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. So, BCC is trading for more than it was yesterday. If you can look on Yobit, you can see it. Also, basically, what's going to happen is I believe that Bitcoin, after all of this, is going to soar past BCC. Is going to have a bigger following than a lot of people realize. And, you know, I was fully expecting this just because, I mean, the guy behind Bitcoin.com, I mean, that guy processes more Bitcoin transactions than all the other Bitcoin wallets combined. So they're going to have some traction. And the thing about Bitcoin Cash is it already works now. Well, supposedly it's already, you know, it's already supposed to be ahead. Like they raised the 8 megablocks, so it's going to be fast and virtually free transactions. And the fact that they don't have a lot of market share, I mean, they don't have a lot of people clogging up the blocks, so they have bigger blocks and they don't have as many people sending transactions. So anyone who does use it is going to have a pretty good experience if it works as they say. They're going to get fast Bitcoin. And to be honest, let me see, what was his name? I believe it was YouTube. I believe his name is Kevin. Kevin Bitcoin. Well, what is... One second. Just trying to find a Bitcoin.com owner or BCC. There we go. That's how you'll find it. Okay, here we go. Roger, not Kevin. I don't know what the fuck I was saying. Roger. I'm doing so much damn research. Basically, okay, so he is like the brainchild behind all of this. He's the one that has most of the sway. He's the biggest advocate. The thing about Roger is he has been an advocate for Bitcoin since the beginning. Like, since the beginning. And if you go to his old videos, he's beloved. Like, he's fucking beloved. People love him. They're all saying, you know, God bless you, all this stuff. Because of what he was doing for Bitcoin. What has happened is, and I see, because I always play devil's advocate. And I don't want to be biased on one side. I mean, short answer, I hate what he did. Long answer, I'm kind of trying to. Either way, I think the way I understand why he did it, but he went about it wrong. So basically, he wanted to keep true to Satoshi's original thing because in the white paper, basically, not even the white paper, basically since Bitcoin's inception, we've had megabyte. They just increased the block size. That's what they kept doing. The argument is no matter what, there's a flaw in the white paper because you can't just keep increasing the block size to hold all the world's transactions, because eventually the block size would become so big that it wouldn't be able to, you know, it would just be too much resources. And so an off-scale solution, if Bitcoin, so like right now, Bitcoin's the size of, you know, the crypto market's the size of Starbucks market cap. Right. So if we're talking about actually getting into the trillions and getting into real big boy territory, there's going to be a lot of transactions on the Bitcoin network. Way more. And we need an off-chain scaling solution, but that's in the future. But right now, basically, there's two things. It's like, okay, we can either keep increasing the block size, or we can bring the off-scale solution that we need to fix it so we can start thinking long-term. Because the plan with SegWit is to launch SegWit, and then they'll in November or September, November, they're going to have an actual hard fork to a 2 megabyte block, and then import Lightning and all that. So it's very complicated, the other side. But basically, Kevin didn't want BCC. They don't want these. They call them foreigners because the people for Bitcoin Core are relatively a newer group. And watching a lot of the interviews, I understand the passion. Like, I don't hate the guy. Like, I did hate the guy, but I did some more research. Like, I hate him, but I don't hate him. I don't hate him as much. I just don't like, because basically what happened was he disagreed, but in my opinion, if SegWit was implemented, I don't think that would have been the death of Bitcoin, right? Like, I think he could have let it play out. And then come the actual hard fork in the future that's coming anyway, right? Why not try to bring something there to the table? If you want it to buy, the megabyte to be maybe 4 megabytes instead of 2, like meet in the middle. But what he did was took his ball and went home. He went and just said, fuck it. If you guys aren't going to do what I want, I'm going to create my own Bitcoin. And what he did in doing that, which is a personal endeavor, right? You can say it's for Bitcoin, but really, is it? Because right now, people are taking for granted that Bitcoin's always going to be around. And the fact is, that's not true. I mean, if there's enough debacle, if there's enough bullshit, if there's enough people who are seeing the price fluctuations. No, if you're not tech and you wake up and then you hear in the news there's 2 Bitcoins, that's not good. It's not good. It's confusing as shit. People don't understand that. Like, what do you mean? And then, God forbid, Bitcoin price drops. Then there's going to be like price drops and radical volatile Bitcoin market where there's now 2 Bitcoins. Like, you're just scaring the world off. And we're messing with pennies here. We're messing with fucking pennies. We have a Starbucks market cap and we're trying to act all fucking baller. And it pisses me off because a lot of people take this shit for granted. And they don't realize it's still a fucking baby. And we need to fucking nurture it. And we need to come together as a fucking crew, man. This is fucking not just, I don't know, like... You wake up and then you're gifted the technology of Bitcoin. None of you motherfuckers asked for this shit. It was given. You don't even know who fucking made it. It was just here one day. And now we have the fucking ability to upgrade it. And of course, nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to fucking fight for themselves and take what's not even theirs. It's so annoying. Like, I don't get it. It's like we're given this life and then people just want to turn greedy. It's like, fuck off, man. This is way bigger than money. This is way bigger than trying to prove a fucking point. Like, I actually have respect for Roger for what he did, and I normally don't say the names of people when I'm talking like this, but I just feel as though this is a really life-changing thing. And the point is forcing the hand right now. BCC forcing Bitcoin's hand right now in the middle of the worst crash, because that caused the crash, right? And then at the last minute, he wants to hard fork anyway. After that crash, that's just taking, and it's just really taking everything for granted right now. I don't know. I just think that we could have waited to the hard fork in November and see what happened. But I do think that we're strong enough to survive. I think we're going to overcome it. I think blockchain technology has proven so much. It's not about the blockchain technology in aspects. It's about the decentralization, because any blockchain technology becomes centralized. It's how you use the power that's given to us. Bitcoin was given to us as freedom. It was our trump card to freedom, guys. I don't understand. People don't. I wish I would have knew about it sooner, and understand it and really understood its importance, because we're fighting a war that we're not winning. I'm sad to say people have their mindsets at the absolute wrong thing, and they don't realize that every day you give more power to your governments, it's a power. It's a give and take. You can't give someone power without giving up power. So if you're constantly giving power, if the government think of 10 years ago, and then 10 years before that, start to think of like just the little things that were taken away, the little rights that we used to have, right? The little freedoms we used to have. Privacy used to be a freedom. It actually used to be a freedom, and now it's not. You have no freedom. You have no rights to any of your privacy at all. And once and you don't understand, you're like, oh, okay, that's not a big deal. But once you get, that's you giving the government power, and that's you losing power. Because if someone knows everything about you, everything you do, then they're 20 steps ahead of you. They know everything. They could set you up. They can do anything they want. You're theirs if they know every little detail about you. It's a very, very dangerous game we're playing in this world right now. And I really feel as though we're rocking the crypto boat for no real reason. You know, a lot of people get rich and then they go to jail or they get stabbed in the back. If you know my knives analogy, if you get to the top fucking people over, you're going to have 1,000 knives pointed at you. But if you get to the top with everyone else, you're going to have 1,000 knives around you, but they're going to be pointed away from you in your defense. And that's what you always have to consider, because it's not worth people think it's an illusion. Place, situation, what you're in, it's all an illusion. People will think, oh, well, I got to the top because they got the money, but they don't realize that the money is all an illusion. And you look around and you understand you're actually in hell. You've just worked your way into hell, and then you fucking get fucked over. You lose it. You can never keep it. You're always going to be watching your back. And that's why you can't get fixed on money or anything. You always have to get fixed on what you're doing as an alignment to where you're going to get to where you want to be, with those knives surrounding you but pointed outwards. That's what you want to be. You want to have a team that's defending you. And it doesn't matter, because life, there's actually something called loyalty in life. There's actually called something in love in life. I know a lot of people think that shit's fairy tale nowadays and that it's not true and everyone stabs backs. But coming from a real motherfucker, it actually is true. Because if you treat people how you want to be treated, you'd be surprised at how much love you'll receive. There's just not enough real motherfuckers out there. That's the whole point. That's why so many people think they're backstabbing. If you think that, well, if I was him, I would fuck him over, or I would stab him in the back, right? If you think that, then you're never ever going to trust anyone else, because if you couldn't trust yourself deep down, you could never ever trust another human being. So it all comes down to me first trust. You know, I've escrowed so many deals. I've never fucked over one person in my entire life. My track record proves it. And that's just because I trust myself first above all. And then I can trust other people. But if you can't, first of all, you got to trust yourself. But if you can't trust yourself, then trust other people. You'll never get anywhere either. So it's just, I know this is getting outside of like what am I doing? Like right now we're back. You can see the market's coming back. You know, we're plus 91. All we need is some good news. It doesn't even give a fuck if it's from Bitcoin Cash or some Bitcoin. All I know is right now what happened is also another thing I wanted to say is, this is the world, and you're going to have people who are going to try to take shots at the crown no matter what. You're going to have people who try to conquer, try to do their shit. That's just the world. I have no feelings. I have no mixed feelings over any of it. I want Bitcoin, the original, to stay intact, because I think it's just going to be more decentralized. Yeah, there's more mining pools than ever before. Right, so the decentralization of mining is actually at its peak, right? But that doesn't mean that it's entirely decentralized. You can't take something and move it 10% and say, well, it's better than it's ever been before. And then you got to think, well, there's still 90% of shit. It's like, yeah, there's way more mining pools, but who owns the mining? I mean, come on, I'm not going to fucking say names. It's fucking obvious though, right? You know, they're in China. Hint, hint. I mean, it's not fair competition. There's basically monopolies in this shit. Yeah, you can go, but if you don't have the fucking resources, you're not going to be able to compete. The block size raising makes it tougher on miners. I mean, it's more network congestion. Do you understand? Like, you're going to need more equipment, more power. So, yeah, the mining aspect is decentralized, but it's kind of like saying the NFL is decentralized. Yeah, well, if you're not 6'5" and run a 4.5 40, you're probably not going to get in the NFL. Let's be real. That's kind of how the mining thing is. And the Chinese people are just loaded with fucking shit brick houses that are just tearing down things. So it's a dangerous game we're playing. I'm rooting for Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin Cash is going to crash like everyone says. I think it'll crash, but then it'll stay around and surprise people, because there's just too much power. Bitcoin.com is too big. There's just too much behind it. So what's going to happen with it? I don't know. Eventually, I think it could be rendered obsolete. because of what's happening with if Bitcoin. All right, so if what they're doing with SegWit and Lightning Network and all that, come Christmas, if Bitcoin is fast and cheap, it will be the number one, and Bitcoin Cash will be on the ropes, if not out of the game. However, there's one mess up with Bitcoin. There's any kind of blips, any kind of bullshit, Bitcoin Cash is going to be, every time there's a hit to Bitcoin, now we have the anti-ghost. Now we have something we've never, ever had before. We have something that if Bitcoin does bad, it's going to do good, right? You can say the altcoin market when people dump Bitcoin for altcoins. Yeah, that's kind of true. But this is going to be directly interrelated with Bitcoin and nothing else. Because if Bitcoin goes down for any kind of bad publicity, you're going to have something that people can flock to. And they've never had that before. So, like let's say Bitcoin Cash came out 2 months ago. And it proven itself, that it's not, that it works. And then you had this fiasco with Bitcoin. Everyone would have flocked to Bitcoin Cash. I know that's a hypothetical situation that couldn't even existed because that would have been the future fork. But I'm just saying, if there's anything like let's say with the fork coming up with Bitcoin, or something happens with SegWit, Bitcoin Cash is going to go up, right? So I'm not selling my Bitcoin Cash. I'm just going to hold on to it. I don't need to sell it. Whatever. If I don't make any money off of it, I don't really care. If it goes up, I'm going to put myself in really a regretless place because I don't think it's ever going to fall to zero. I don't know, right? Because Ethereum Classic's still here, right? And it's a top 10 coin. So I just don't know if it's going to go to zero. I know how humans work. And I just think that right now we're still such a baby that we can share it. I think if we want to get all this shit out, we might as well do it now before we really go to the next level. But I really need Bitcoin to get its shit together. So this has been basically a pure Bitcoin episode. So many cool ICOs coming up, obviously. I'm a big fan of ICOs. There's a lot of good coins. What were my biggest home runs? My biggest home runs during this of just pure coins, not talking ICOs. PPT comes to the top. I got PPT at like 80 cents. That was nice. I was getting basic attention token. That wasn't the biggest home run. There was some others. Vertasium, I got it $80 or $90 during that dump, during one of the dumps, when because it was really cool because I got it at 0.5, and that was when Ethereum was at like 180. One of my biggest licks by far was getting a bunch of Ethereum at 145 and buying into the MyBit ICO with the bonus. So that was one of the huges. That was one of the really big binks. Also, man, it pissed me off. I bought some Ethereum last night, right before it jumped, actually. So that was pretty baller. I got it at like 190 right before it jumped. And then I bought EOS with like 8 minutes left because it had like 60 seconds. It was like 60 cents or something. But I was thinking that I was just going to roll the dice anyway because last night with all the Bitcoin fiasco that they probably would be paying attention to it. And yeah, motherfuckers paid attention to it and jumped right up. And then I missed it. Like, it took my money, but I didn't even get in that round. So now I'm in this fucking round from the beginning, something I hate doing because, why enter in the beginning when you can enter at the last minute? I guess now I know why, because even with 8 minutes, you might not fucking get in. I was surprised there was that much. I know the reason I get in because it was congested, because for some reason at the last 5 minutes, everyone decided to just double the what was left. And I know that's how it usually happens, but I just wasn't expecting it last night. Maybe today will be a better day. I hope today's a better day. I'm locked in. I have no fucking choice. Today could be a terrible day because of all the fucking, the lifeblood's returning. So I hope that... I'm not really tripping. It's not really a big deal. Like, if I pay fucking $250 or $180, like, if EOS is either going to succeed or it's not. And the reason I got EOS is because I'm not going to be a stupid guy, and because I would have definitely bought Ethereum for $8, $5, whatever, if I was around in that day and I knew, like, I used to not even use fucking computers that much. Like, the only thing I used to use it for was poker. And then I learned how to actually, program and stuff. I'm not a blockchain expert or nothing, but I built a website. I did. Wow, what the hell? It's pretty funny. People are like BCC and BitConnect, the BCC. So like, people like, so people probably like that doesn't make sense, right? Everything else is going up, and then BCC for some reason just takes a nosedive. That's pretty funny. That's scary, actually. I think it's got to be related to the BCC, right? That's pretty. If humans are just weird like that, definitely a red flag, though. Always keep up with that. Yeah. So basically, fight for your rights, guys. This is important. This is not some fucking joke. This is very, very important. It feels nice to be free, right? Aren't you empowering yourself? People think that you're only supposed to make 4% a year. People think you're only supposed to make and 4% a year is actually really good compared to what a bank gives you. What, you put your money in a bank account, you get like 0.5%. I don't know. You get something stupid. You lock your money up for like 3 years, you might get, or 5 years, you might get 2%. I just think that this is giving people financial empowerment because you can really see how people can actually get rich who put some hustle in, because we're in that point where anyone can do it. You can research. There's no big guy in the middle stopping you like in the stock market. There's no, the corruption's at an all-time low when you're talking about this much money. Because when you're talking about this much money, it's usually 90% corruption, 99% corruption. But this is where the brave make it, because a lot of the big cats are either A, ignorant, or B, afraid to get in, or C, just now getting in. And to them, it looks like a game, but they're actually starting to see the seriousness. So every day is just so important. I can't take that for granted. I can't stress that enough. Each day, do as much as you can. You don't always have to be making money. Making money is the illusion, right? If you're making good money every day and then one day you wake up and you don't make money, you can't be down. You have to really use that day as be prepared for the opportunity. I was always prepared in my life. I was always prepared for the opportunity. I never necessarily knew exactly what the opportunity was going to be, but I was always prepared for it. So when this opportunity came, I was ready and locked in. So every day studying, getting more knowledge out. If you truly believe this is going to be the life changer for you, and this if you have a real passion like I do for decentralized world, it's an easy brainer. I don't have a job. This is what I do every day, all day. This is what I do all day, every day, is research. And now I have a team of people who research for me and help me research. And I'm just going to keep building it every day, adding members. If I'm not, maybe I didn't make a lot of money in one day, let's say an example yesterday, but I got a lot of work done that's going to enable me to keep making a lot of money. Does that make sense? Because I just see a lot of impatience. I see a lot of people who they made a lot of money real quick, and now the market's kind of, what's happening with Bitcoin is just kind of swaying. And people get impatient and they think, I got to make money now. People got to understand, you got to be humble. You got to be where you are. You got to understand what you have. Don't overextend yourself. It's a fine line. Making too many moves in one day, or making too many moves, can hurt you just as much as not making enough moves. If you're trying to force moves just for the sake of trying to squeeze out money, that's when you actually start losing and you start wasting your energy, and you start running yourself into the ground, basically. So basically, you got to have a night, be like water, like Bruce Lee, be like water, get the most out of every day. And what does that mean? The water gets the most out of every cup. And what do I mean by that? When you pour the water in the cup, it takes up as much room as possible. It gets every bit of space filled. That's what the water does with the cup. Water always gets the most out of every cup. Get the most out of every day. Fill in every place with something. Even if that something's watching a show or taking a nap, resting. Sometimes doing nothing is doing something. Because you're resting, you're regenerating, meditating. Always find some kind of use in what you're doing. If what you're doing brings you discomfort or brings you a bad feeling, like you think you should be doing something else, that's when you need to be meditating, because that's when you're out of alignment. I understand that feeling. That feeling is very, very common for ambitious people. You always feel like you have the need to do something. That's when you need to meditate, because you don't always need to do something. That's your program. That's your ambition. That's your 100. That's the fire that's never out. You can have the fire going, but you need to meditate. Listen to the crackles, right? Feel the warmth. Don't just have the fire and get nothing from it. That's what a lot of people do. They have the fire, but they don't benefit from it. They don't take in the benefits. So, and these are things, like I'm telling you, like I wouldn't be fucking saying these things if these things didn't help me. Mindset is everything. Everyone wants to learn how to make money, but no one wants to learn how to fucking keep it, or nobody wants to learn how to endure the journey. And that's the main part. Get the mindset right, and you'll be happy no matter what. I was feeling good. I was going to get it before. I already knew I had it. So if you act like every day you already have the money and you're just getting more and more and more, you're going to have a good feeling in yourself. You're not going to have that desperation. That desperation can kill you, right? Trained assassins aren't desperate. Bruce Lee wasn't desperate. Don't confuse a desperate dog for something that is a go-getter. That desperation can kill you. You have to be focused. You can't rely on pure emotion. You can't let that emotion of desperation push you, and that be the only thing. Right, everyone has desperation, but you have to know where to harness it from and use it as movement. So, just you're already home. Listen to that Jay-Z song, "Already Home." I should have played that for this morning's intro, but "Already Home" by Jay-Z. All right, basically, looking, right now I'm not really looking to sell anything or do anything, because the market could easily jump another 10 billion. We could easily just go right back to where we were once all the money starts coming back in. There's been a lot of time that has gone by. Keep in mind what I say about time. Time is money. So all this time that's been going by, all these coins have been working behind the scenes, yet have not been getting the value to show for it like they should have. And a lot of these coins are going to skyrocket due to all the behind the things that they're doing. Because once this thing gets over 100 billion, that's when you start to see things start to really not only go back to where they were, but we're looking to not just get back to where we were. We're looking to keep growing leaps and bounds. And crypto moves quick. Money comes in real quick. Things 0 to 100 real quick. So I am hanging tight, not even selling. I had a little bit of BCC on Yobit last night. I had a little bit of Bitcoin that I was too lazy to move off. I think it was like 1 or 2 Bitcoins or something. And I sold that just because I wasn't really even thinking. But I'm fine with that. That was cool. I don't even care. I used that to buy more cheap Ethereum anyway. And then got that into EOS. But the point is, I'm basically going to just see how it plays out. I do not really like Bitcoin Cash as a long-term play, right? And I always say I never have short-term investments. But when you have a short-term investment that falls in your lap forcefully, like I didn't buy BCC, it was given to me, right? I woke up and now I have BCC. I'm going to try to make the most money out of it. That's all I can. And I think that, yeah, I could sell for right now and make a few, make $5,000 or something, 10 grand, whatever it is, whatever the price is. Last time I checked, what is it going for? So about 360. So I don't know. I could make a little bit of money right now. Wouldn't be, cool. But if something was to happen with Bitcoin, meaning there was some kind of glitch, there's going to be a huge boost, and that thing could easily jump to like 5, 6, 7, 800. And I don't see it bottoming out past $150. So when I look at the upside potential versus the downside potential, I see it might bottom out at $150, $100. I don't think it's going to get much cheaper than that. At least not right now, because there's still, Bitcoin still, it has to prove itself with SegWit, right? There's going to be a bunch of smear campaigns. BCC is not going to go down without a fight. There's going to be some times that might get the better of Bitcoin in some days. And so we might start to see that. And I just want to be prepared. I don't want to miss out. But I'm going to kill it here. Cheers. Peace.